Whoa, hey, and hello, Mortal Kombat community. The return of the Red Solo Cup. And the reason I have soda is because this one is going to be a doozy of a video. Woo! I got this idea from a friend of mine on Twitter. That's where it's at. This is going to be... Wait a second. You guys don't know who I am, do you? I heard you asking. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Nightmare. Woo! Yay, high fives all around. Actually, no. You don't get a high five because you have to stick around to the end of this video. Then you'll get your five. In the last video I did, I mentioned I was going to be doing DLC ideas. And then you're thinking, but in one of your videos, you already mentioned DLC characters. What more could there be? Apparently a lot. Because as I got to writing down ideas for DLC, I started coming up with more. And those ideas led into more. And those ideas led into more. You see the problem? You see what I deal with, you see what I do. But we're going to go a little out of order because a couple of the things on this list I don't have ideas for. Or I don't have a lot of ideas as much as I do the rest of this list. So, and as you know, over there is my little handy dandy notebook. And it's chocked full of brilliant ideas, which I will bring to you right now. Nightmares MKX DLC idea thoughts. My first couple ones are similar but different. Stage Fatalities and Stage Brutalities. Now, we do not have Stage Fatalities in Mortal Kombat. We do not have stage-specific brutalities, which I think would be cool. But let's start on fatalities. What are some different things you could do in the stages that could be stage fatalities? Alright, let's see. I'm not going to be very good at remembering the names of these stages. I wish I'd have, got on there before I started recording this and looked them up. But I didn't. So, we're just going to have to roll with it. On one of the stages, I believe it's the Khan's Palace building stage where they're making the statues and memorials and all that to Kotal Khan. There is a well of some sort. I think it would be cool if you knocked your opponent into the well. And just, bam, into it. And they did the classic from, the first game, the fall animation. And they just smashed into a spike on the ground. It could be like the new Pitfall, something like that. Something to the pit death, that effect. There could be in another stage. There's a giant, and maybe even in the same stage, there's a giant spin wheel of spikes where you could knock your opponent back and they could fall onto the spikes or something like that. There's a lot you could do with stage fatalities in this game. You could feed somebody to the Revenant pool in the Quan Chi library stage. You could, all sorts of stuff would be fun. Like I said, I can't think of too many for stage fatalities because I'm not familiar with all the stages. But that transitions into stage brutalities because this is something I'm a little more adept to. As I saw on YouTube, there is already, for the Deadwood stage, whatever, Dead Forest stage, there is a stage-specific brutality where you take one of the interactables, the log, and you pick it up and just wing it right through your opponent's chest. and it gets all bloody, and they die. They just land on their knees, and their head falls back, and they die, and the blood starts pouring out of the log. Very nice looking. Gruesomely nice. It'd be cooler, I think, to me, it'd be cooler if they, like, fell over and the log pushed all the way through them. But I like what they did with the log pouring blood. Some more stage-specific brutalities you could do is, again, in the Quan Chi's palace, there is an interactable with the hammer. It could be a stage-specific fatality where you have to throw them over to that area, and you reach and you grab the hammer and you just smash them to death. Or maybe another any stage interactable that you can grab and hit your opponent with should be able to be transitioned into a brutality. Like the lamppost, and I think is one of them, where you can smack somebody with either some sort of post or some sort of lamppost or metal piping thing. You should be able to, if it's the last hit, it should be a brutality. I don't know if these are all things already, because I haven't played through MKX, so if these are all things, yay, then one of my DLC dreams has come true without DLC. But stage brutalities would be great. And as you notice, I'm bad at transitioning, and I'm actually having to look to reference my handy-dandy notebook over there. Now, on to something that I'm going to talk a lot in depth about. Costumes. Costumes is the thing that has gotten under my skin in Mortal Kombat X. Not because we don't have them, but because we don't have enough for other characters. Some characters have gotten like 1,000. Some characters, like our new characters, only have like 2. They only have 2, and that bothers me because these new characters deserve a lot more shine than they're getting. They're really just there to be new characters, it seems like to me. Alright. Okay. For example, Feudal Japan skins is one of the things. If you buy the combat pack, you get 3 Feudal Japan skins. 1 for Kenshi, 1 for Katana, and 1 for Shinnok. That is a cool concept. Grab it and run with it to your other characters. I'm sure they could find a way to put those costumes on at least, if not 6, then 9 to 12, to even all of your other characters at least have 1 Feudal Japan skin. Something like that. Medieval costumes is a concept I came up with the help of one of my siblings. Medieval costumes, knights, mages, sort of, kings, clerics, that kind of thing. Medieval, old school, ye old English costumes. It'd be great to see what they would look like in like the MK universe, because the MK universe costumes look odd to begin with. Excuse me. But yeah, medieval costumes, Feudal Japan skins. One that's close to me, as they're doing it now, I think they're Cold War skins or whatever, blah blah blah. Fancy name for what would they look like if they were from Russia. I want to see that with other characters. I want to see that specifically with Ferrator, because that would be great. I want to see any sort of Russian-inspired costumes for characters. I will pay good money for. I would pay for a $5 pack if it only had 6 costumes in it, or something like that. A $5 skin pack just for one for Ferrator, something like that. And all these could go towards, just like the Blue Steel Scorpion. All these costumes I'm going to be talking about could go towards pots for future tournaments or future skins or future DLC. Whatever you want to put this money towards, if you do stuff like this, people are gonna buy, is what I'm trying to say. More horror themed packs, skins, costumes. I say costumes still. A lot of people say skins. I'm old school and I still say costumes because that's just the word I grew up using. Skins has only become a word in like the last, I want to say 5 to 7 years. People have started using the word skins to mean costumes. Maybe not even that long. But anyway, horror themed costumes. It would be cool to see them take the concept they did with the first horror pack with Vampirus Melina and obviously a ripoff of the Creature from the Black Lagoon, Kraken, Reptile, and the Mummy Ermac, Pharaoh Ermac, whatever, and just take those and put them on other characters. Like maybe a werewolf or Frankenstein Tor and a tiny golem Farah. That'd be sweet. Or maybe, I don't know, somehow bring in Michael Myers. You could Michael Myers somebody. I don't know who. You could. The horror movie monsters, horror movie costumes, serial killer costumes. Just, there's a lot you could do with the horror idea, and it'll work for a lot of characters. But yeah, that's just another one of them. Russian inspired costumes, feudal Japan inspired costumes, horror inspired costumes, medieval inspired costumes. There's a lot you could do in terms of costumes, skins, whatever you want to call them. DLC character costumes, something I don't believe we've ever had before. Costumes specifically designed for your DLC characters. I'm sure people would pay money for a Jason X costume for Jason, or a futuristic looking Predator, or an old school Tanya, or what would Trimmer look like if he was in this game, or even alternate costumes for each character. Like, what would they look like if they had alternates, if they were already MK characters? Something like already MKX characters. What would they look like if they had alternate costumes? Something like that. Just something along the lines of costumes for all your DLC characters, to give them at least another look. That'd be something, if not everybody, I know at least I would pay for. I mean, because right now we're in the age where people are irritated at DLC, and it's something that I don't know why people. I know why some people are mad at it, but DLC to me is a good thing. That's why I made this video, because this is just me saying DLC not that bad if you do it in these sort of ways. Another idea that I came up with is classic costumes for every character. Every character deserves at least one classic costume, or classic-esque costume. Reptile is a big one on my list. I would pay for maybe even a green. Sorry, I keep playing with that thing. A green steel Reptile. I know people are asking for a red steel Ermac. I wouldn't call them these. I'd call it like a green emerald Reptile and maybe a red stone Ermac, something like that. That would be up there. A classic Sonya. Classic Johnny Cage from his. I don't know what you could do in terms of classic Johnny Cage. I know they're thinking of doing like classic Jax. I think is next is one of the combat or costume packs we got. They're doing some more classic costumes, but do them for every character. Now, this last idea for costumes before we move on to the next DLC group is something I recently thought of, but I think it would be really just wow to see. I call it alternate universe or clan opposition costumes. What does that mean, Nightmare? Well, inquisitive person, clan opposition or alternate universe costumes, stuff like, what if Scorpion and Sub-Zero switched places? What if Scorpion was Lin Kuei and Sub-Zero was Shira Ryu? What if Raiden were always evil and wanted to rule the world? What if Liu Kang was a street fighter? What if Kung Lao wasn't a Shaolin monk? What if Sonya Blade was Black Dragon and Kano was Special Forces? What? There's a lot you could do there. Like, right now there's a costume out. I think it's Kotal Khan's alternate where he looks human. Stuff like that is cool to me. There's hundreds of ideas. What if Melina had normal face? What if she wasn't part Tart Cotton? I'm sure they can't do that because it's part of her character design. But something to that effect. There's a lot you could do with this clan opposition. Tell me what you think in the comments or to my Twitter about these costume ideas, or what costumes you would want to see. But I'm going to try to put all these ideas into one video. Actually, no, I just thought of it. This is going to be my alternate costumes ideas video, and then I'm going to record the rest of them. So, this has been my ideas for, I got stage brutalities and stage fatalities out of the way because I couldn't think of a lot for those, but they'll be talked about more in upcoming videos, I'm sure. So, this has been Nightmare's thoughts on DLC ideas, costumes. Next, stages. DLC stages. But, alright guys, as I always in these videos, thank you for watching. Please come back and watch the next one. You guys have been all that. I've been Nightmare, and until the next video, Nightmare out.